Robin's going to leave the hospital.
Do you have any idea of the risks?
Yes. Yes, I do. The risk is that he might die. Robin.
I either go on living here or leave here and possibly die.
Yes.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Would you agree with me in my first question that this is such a remarkable true story, it plays a little bit like fiction?
That was always the intention in the way that we shot it, because I wanted to create a world where it felt like a fairy tale. Really, the opening of the movie wanted to feel like a fairy tale. These two young people who were, these two young gilded people who had their lives ahead of them, falling in love, going to, to Africa, very romantic, before the event happens that completely turns their life on its head. But it was a real intention to then not make it suddenly go. You could shoot this in a way that was very domestic and dour, but their lives were not like that. Mm-hmm. Once that event happened, their lives didn't suddenly. I mean, they did for a short time when he went into a depression, but from the moment of him choosing to live life outside of hospital, the life literally came back into their their beings, and from that point they lived life with a great deal of humour and a great deal of grace, always 2 minutes away from death. So I wanted it to have vibrancy and humour all the way through.
It certainly, you accomplished that. You really did. And speaking of accomplishments, rather than choosing, which so many polio victims do, just die because they can't cope with it, they went on, the two of them, to accomplish a great deal.
Absolutely.
And change people's lives.
That's right. That's right. And this film really is a sort of, it's not a sort of disability rights movie or a sort of big political. They were not making big political statements. No. They were just doing things personally because they were personally affected. And then the people that they met in hospital, the doctors that they worked with, they wanted to give back, and that was very much part of Robin's DNA.
For the rest of my interview, put on your director's hat, your leading actors.
Incredible. Their chemistry on and off set was fantastic because they totally gave of themselves to each other and were so generous with each other. Claire used to look after Andrew between takes. They made this pact where she would look after him, and they stayed in character. But they both were so true and honest and open and collaborative.
Beautiful love story.
Yeah. Really beautiful love story.
I loved the supporting cast of Friends.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that was for me. It was great to work with Tom Hollander as both David and Bloggs Blacker. And he did such an incredibly subtle job of making those very funny characters come to life. Hugh Bonneville as Teddy Hall, just really, really extraordinary performances. And again, really the challenge was to keep this film, not make it sentimental in any way, not make it kind of.
It moves with a sense of humor.
Absolutely.
And you give Andrew a lot of credit for that. He seemed to always have a smile and enjoyed everything he did.
Yeah, no, he absolutely, and that was Robin, and he studied Robin very closely through Jonathan, and Jonathan was obviously such an incredible resource for us. So yes, and it was this sense of trying to make other people, validating other people's lives as well. That's what they did. They made other people's lives came. They used to. It was a very sociable household. And when people used to come round, they used to go away feeling terrific about themselves. They had this effect on people.
And Andy, you have the same effect on people. And I want to thank you for your time and tell my audience in Arizona, please do not miss Breathe. It's one of the best films of the year. I can't wait till I see it a second time.